everyone, here we are for a new workout today, and as you can see already, today we don't work out with any equipment at all. So we just need us, ourselves, and a little bit of space. And as you can see here, we don't have a lot of space, but we will use it as efficient as possible. And it will be like always, we first do a warm-up and then we do the exercises in a kind of circle training. I hope you have fun and enjoy.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Let's start with the warm-up. We will go through altogether 7 exercises and you just follow me. Each exercise is like 1 minute. So first we start easy. You just walk up and down and bring your knee to your chest. You can do this either by holding the leg front and up or by just bringing the knee up. You can do this fast or slow. What you don't want to do is you don't want to lean your upper body to the front while you bring the knee up. So try to keep your upper body as straight as you can and then bring your knee up to your chest to mobilize the hips there. And no matter how much space you have, just keep walking up and down. And then when you have done this like 3-4 times, you can start walking a little bit faster, but always pay attention your upper body is staying straight and you pull your knees all the way up. And keep going a little bit more. We have some more seconds to kill here. This exercise is quite an easy one to do, but quite a tiring one to kind of keep doing. But just hold a little bit more on and then we are done. And the next one is exactly the opposite from what we just did. So now you just kick with your heels back and up to your hip. Again, you want to keep your upper body as straight as you can. And you want to have your knee bending as much or pointing as much down towards the ceiling. And you want to keep a nice speed landing with your feet softly. After you have done this for a couple of times, you can also start to go a little bit faster, landing again softly, having your arms going front and back, not as stiff as I have them here on the side. Move your arms right front and back like when you're walking. And just focus a bit more on the movement of the heels. So really kicking the heels back and up. Imagine you have a little bell on the back of your hip and you want to ring the bell with each step you take. And keep going. You can be creative here with the speed. You can try to be for one round very fast or be a little bit slower. This is according to your fitness level. And then we are done. And for the next one, we will start bending the upper body a bit. So you go from there, taking a step to the front, touching the ground, taking a step to the front, touching the ground. Make sure you bend your knees each time you step. So you don't want to just kind of bend down and have the legs all straight, but it's supposed to be like a mini squat that you have in each movement here. You can also do this faster. So you go a little bit faster in between. You make a fast step and you kind of run forward. And again, you keep going, and always make sure the knees are nice and bent and the back is straight and the hip goes back and down towards the ground. And go a little bit more and always make sure you touch the ground. So don't keep your hands like halfway up and try to keep a nice speed. If you don't want to run, this is fine. You just take steps, but you don't want to do a break if possible. So keep going for a little bit longer. We are almost there. So maybe you manage to the other side of your room one more time. And then next move. For the next one, we are going to touch the ground again, but this time we are going to step sideways. So off you go. Step with one leg outside, bend the leg that steps outside and touch the ground right and left from your feet. So you have always one leg bent and the other one straight. When you bend your knee, you want to make sure that your knee always stays behind your foot. So you don't want to bring the knee too much to the front. And go slow. If you have the feeling, touching the ground is not so my thing, you can put your hands on your knee and just push your hip back as if you want to sit down. Just try to have the legs always opposite, so one bend and one straight. And keep going. And the bigger you make your steps, the more stretching you feel on the inside of your leg. So you can also variate here. You can make one round where you have the feet a bit shorter together, but you move a bit faster, or you can make long steps. A little bit more and then stop. So next one is again a sideway movement, but this time we are going to cross the feet. So one foot is crossing in front and behind the other one, and then we want to change. With this movement, what you don't want to do is you don't want to rotate your hips too much. So your hip bones, this is why I have my hands here on my hip, your hip bones always point to the front. And then just the legs are crossing. If you feel like it, you can cross them a little bit faster. You don't want to make very big steps. You want to make small steps, but have a fast activity in your feet. Then when you catch the movement, you can also always bring the opposite hand to the front in order to turn it a bit more into a walking-like movement. So go front and back, front and back, front and back. Zack, zack, zack. Quick feet you want to have here, but you never want to start rotating the hip. So really make sure your hip stays as straight as possible, a little bit more, and then we are almost there, and stop. So the next one is very simple. I just want you to take long steps. So you stand and you want to cross your room with as few steps as possible. So taking a long step to the front and taking the opposite hand forward. Count how many steps it takes you to go through the room, and then try with each round to take like a quarter of a step less. You can also step backwards, so stepping forward, and then instead of turning, you just try to do the same thing backwards and forward and backwards, or you turn. This is up to you, but always try to really make the feet as long as possible, or the legs. So long steps. The problem when stepping back is that very often you are kind of scared to crush into something. So see how you do it. And one more time, and then stop. And now we come close to the ground, and you want to walk on your fours. So onto the ground you go, and then you want to take right foot and left hand, and left foot and right hand. So I here don't turn around, I walk backwards because I had the feeling that turning around would kind of take too much time. But you can obviously, if you have a longer distance to cover, you can obviously also just turn and walk back, although walking backwards is a little bit more coordination then. So we are walking front and back, and always make sure you are having right hand, left leg, and not, let's say, right hand and right leg. So because this would be like a camel walk, and you want to move opposite. And go a little bit more step. And keep walking. Also here we do 1 minute. And then this is our last movement. So when we are done now, we go into circle training. As always, I'm going to show the exercises quickly, and then afterwards we are going to do them one by one. So follow along with me. The first one is called the Inchworm. So we go from standing, we step into a high plank, the hip comes down, and then the upper body comes up, and then again hip down, hip back and up, feet come forward, and you come up. Next one are the bunny hops. So we go again down on the fours, and you want to hop with your feet forward. You don't have to hop if you don't want. You can also step forward. Next one, again on the ground, we want to walk in crab walk. So you have your stomach to the ceiling, and then you walk front and back. Again, you can turn, or you just keep walking backwards. Here, don't worry about right hand, left leg. Usually this sorts itself out. So just walk front and back. Next one, also a rather simple movement. You just pick two kind of obstacles, right and left, and you touch them. Just please make sure that you are wearing non-slippery socks, or that you have a good ground contact. Next one is the movement I personally hate the most. You just want to run from one side to the other and lift the knees as high as you can. You don't have to run if you don't want. You can also walk slowly. Next one is a combination of the two movements we have done before. So first of all, you lift your knees to your hip, and then you push your heels back and up, and you come into a plank. And then again, knees to hip, heels to back, and you come into a plank. And then we have our last movement. You want to walk sideways and lift your knees up. So you can either walk sideways or run sideways. Just make sure your arms come front and back with the movement. We start with our circuit. Our first movement is the inchworm. We are going to do every movement for 45 seconds. So stand, bring your hands on the ground, walk with the hands forward, bring the hip down, make your back long and straight, and walk with your feet forward to your hands. Try to have your knees as straight as possible. Hip down, hip back and up, walk forward with your feet, and keep going. Hands up, hands down, hip back and up, walk with your feet forward, come up, and hands down, and hip down, hip back and up, walk with your feet forward, and hands up, hands down, plank, hip down, hip back and up, walk forward, and a little bit more, maybe you manage one more time, down, and stop. So now you take your 20-second break, and then we come for our next movement, the bunny hops. So on the ground with you, and then you want to bring your hands front on the ground and hop with your feet to your hands. So hop and go as long as you can, and down and hop and hop and hop. As I said before, you don't have to hop. If you feel like hopping is not the thing for you, then you just step with your feet forward to your hands, and otherwise you just keep going. 45 seconds also for this movement. And you can make the jumps either very quickly, or you can make very long jumps. You can also pick one round where you make very long jumps, and then the second round where you do very short jumps. So here I just stopped moving. You please keep walking. Then take your 20-second break again, and the next movement is again an animal move, and we go for the crab walk. So again, you need to be down on your fours, but this time with the stomach towards the ceiling. But first catch your breath a little bit longer, and then get ready, and off you go. So from here, stomach towards the ceiling, and just go walking. As I said in the beginning, you can either walk forward or you can walk backwards. This is up to you. And you also want to play with the speed a little bit, so you can do a slow round walking slowly, or you can start walking very fast. So again, this is up to you, and don't worry too much about right hand, left hand. This usually sorts itself out in this kind of walking. Try to have your hip nice and up, and keep going front and back. And don't fear, the end is coming. So a little bit longer, and then we are done. And again, off we are for 20-second break, and then we want to move fast. So this is the one where you just senselessly run from right to left, and it really helps if you pick like a marker that you want to touch. You will see here with the movement, I didn't do this in the beginning, and the walking looks kind of odd. Then when I start picking the marker, then it gets much easier. So try to run as quickly as you can. Again, as I said, please wear some socks that have a good anti-slippery sole, or wear shoes, but make sure that you are safe. So now really keep touching right to left, and try to be quickly, because then you practice really starting and stopping. So this is a nice way to kind of always get back into the move, and try to push yourself if you want. You can count also how many repetitions you make, and then for the next round you can try to do at least the same number, or maybe even one or two more. And cat crossing. And then we are done. So, and then my personal favorite is about to come up. So get ready, enjoy these 20 seconds again, and then get ready for evil movement, lifting the knees up. So, I don't know why I find this so terrible difficult, but okay. So, walking quickly, running and lifting the knees high up, and walking or running quickly, bringing the knees up. Ideally, you would bring the knees up to your hip, and then keep going, keep going, keep going. Try to land softly, so try not to wake the neighbors, and just keep moving. And don't fear. Also here, 45 seconds are going to pass. Yeah, you can also walk backwards, and then go to the front again, but always focus on bringing the knees as high up as possible. And keep going. We still have a little bit of time to cover, but an end is in sight. And then stop. The next one is again the combination. So first take your 20-second break and get ready for the combination of exercises of heels up, knees up, and plank. 45 seconds of going up and down, up and down. And then lift the knees, lift the heels, and go into plank. You might notice the cat has gone because I think he was just tired of all this stupid running around and all this waste of energy. But he doesn't understand the concept, I'm sure. So, but we do. So keep moving. Knees up, heels up, plank. And again, try to have your knees as straight as possible so that your hip and your upper body are in one straight line. I have become a little bit lazy here. My knees are all bent. So make the knees as straight as you can. I really have to work on this. And keep going. Knees up, heels up, plank. And maybe you manage one more time. 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Now, oh, joyous news. This is our last movement. So you have your last 20-second break, and then we will walk or run sideways and lift the knees up. So get again back into your position, stand on the beginning of your track, and then again wear some good socks and either run or walk sideways and try to bring the knees up, and the opposite hand always goes front and back, front and back, front and back, so that you really have a nice running, but you want to just go sideways. So knees are coming front and up, upper body is long and straight, and the arms are going front and back. Yeah, you can even bring the knees a little bit higher than I do here. And just keep going. Remember, this is your last 45 seconds, so try to go as fast as you can. And don't hold back. Just keep going. Just keep going. Go, 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 go. A little bit longer. And then 3, 2, 1. And it's the end. So, and that's the end of our first round of the workout. So now catch your breath and then go back to the beginning of the circle exercises and do them again. Then take a break again and go for another round if you have time. Enjoy!
So, as you can see, I'm again dripping in sweat, which is, I guess, good. I hope you enjoyed the workout and you saw that even with no equipment at all and just a tiny, tiny little bit of space, you can do a full body workout and even work on speed and agility. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a big thumbs up, and I see you next week. Bye bye.